Welcome back to Rock Resurgence Radio. This week marks the debut of our exciting new segment, Versus. In Versus, we'll go head-to-head, pitting one band or album against another. For our inaugural Showdown, we're diving into the discography of Bon Jovi, comparing their legendary 1986 hit Slippery When Wet with the 1988 sensation New Jersey. It's a clash of titans, and only one album will reign supreme. Tune in as we unveil our verdict, right here on Rock Resurgence Radio, starting now.
Welcome everybody to Rock Resurgence Radio. My name is Chad, your host.
And I'm Bergie, the co-host.
Hey, tonight we're going to talk about two major albums from the band Bon Jovi. And we're going to put them head to head, see which one wins the battle. There's no losers in this at all. But I want to remind you guys, this is our sixth, seventh, I don't know what episode we're on, but anyways, we are in need of subscribers. So if you like what you're hearing, like, subscribe, tell a friend or two, share our post. Anything you want to do to help would be great. We'd appreciate it very much. So without further ado, I think we're kind of either taking either one side or the other, and we kind of decided that previously. So I'm going to be kind of advocating for Slippery When Wet, and Bergie.
I'm going to advocate a little bit for New Jersey, but I've just recently listened to both of these albums. And, I mean, stay tuned. The end might surprise you a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to both albums again, too, and it's been a long time since I've listened to them. I'm not a huge Bon Jovi fan, but actually, their first two albums I even like even more than these two albums. A little more rock and just whatever, and maybe we'll touch on those someday, too. Maybe we'll put those two against each other, too, because they're both really good albums. Slippery When Wet is their biggest selling album. I believe when I looked it up, I think they have sold over 28 million copies of this album. So it is by far their biggest hit. I believe when I looked it up, New Jersey was about half of that, if not a little less. Great songs, great singles on this. I think New Jersey had one more single than this does, but come on. When you talk about Slippery When Wet, and there's songs on there that just, you play them in the bar and everybody starts singing. And that's just what it's all about. I mean, love, You Give Love a Bad Name comes on, you're singing it. And I got a funny story about that, but we'll get back to that in just a second. Livin' on a Prayer. Come on, Wanted Dead or Alive. There's so many more also that could have been big hits, in my opinion. And it's crazy how good that album is. There's really no stinkers on it at all. So it was pretty easy for me to, say this is my winner, I think. I Would Die for You, Never Say Goodbye, Wild in the Streets. I mean, there's a couple that I'm not as crazy about, but they're still good. Let It Rock, Social Disease, Raise Your Hands, Without Love. I mean, they're all pretty good. There's no skippers on that album. And it's funny because when I was growing up and we were listening to this, I had a little stereo in my car, and I'd go down Main Street, and it was me and a couple buddies of mine. And there happened to be this evening two young ladies walking down Main Street. And we would just keep cruising Main Street, and we'd keep rewinding to the beginning of You Give Love a Bad Name and playing it as loud as we can when we drove by those girls. And, they were older than us. They probably like, what a bunch of dorks. That's probably what they're saying, but we were enjoying ourselves and thinking we're pretty doggone cool anyway. So that's kind of my story that kind of goes with Bon Jovi. I mean, I went to Bon Jovi on the 7,800 Degrees Fahrenheit tour. They actually opened up for Rat, which is really cool. Bon Jovi, who went on to become this monster of a band, actually opened up for Rat. And Rat, in its own right, good band and had some fairly good success, but not Bon Jovi success. So that was kind of neat. That's kind of one of my bullets that I always pull out. I got to see them before they were huge, so I enjoy that. But anyways, I'm gonna I'm going to pick Slippery When Wet right now. And I'm going to let Bergie talk about New Jersey a little bit. Maybe he has a little story he can tell. Then we'll talk about a little few finer points and this and that and a little more chart stuff and whatever comes to mind. But it's all you, buddy.
Okay. Well, since I'm going to advocate for New Jersey, I just want to mention that when we did our top 10 hair ballads, you chose a ballad off of my album and I chose a ballad off of yours.
You're no kidding.
So
That
it's
is true.
kind of an interesting conundrum.
I do like I do like the what's the one I picked again?
I'll be there for you.
Yeah, and I really like that song. And I mean, they write really good ballads. So
Well, New Jersey has 12 songs and Slippery When Wet has 10, so New Jersey wins. There's my argument. No, that's not it. I actually was going to talk a little bit about the history of the Bon Jovi just real quick. I mean,
absolutely.
we don't need to do that, but Bon Jovi was formed in 1983, I believe I saw, and they had 2 albums prior to this. Chad mentioned these a little bit, but Bon Jovi and self-titled, and then 7800 Fahrenheit. 7800 Fahrenheit's a really good album. I know Chad likes it. I like it. It seems like, from what I hear from other Bon Jovi fans, that's one of their least favorites.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
And as they moved on past these 2, Slippery and New Jersey, there's some other good ones too, but more recent stuff, I struggle. Did you? I don't know if you've listened to there's a new single out.
I guarantee you, since I know some songs because they were on the radio, and the only song I can remember that really kind of grabbed me was "It's My Life" because that was a pretty rocking song, and I liked that back in the day. I couldn't tell you that maybe the name of the album, but I'm not sure. After New Jersey, I'm pretty much I don't know diddly about.
Well, that's
about
fair enough.
Bon Jovi.
I know a ton, and so, but we're talking about Slippery When Wet versus New Jersey.
Correct.
Slippery When Wet, just going to touch on that just a little bit. Like Chad said, great songs, great for arena rock. I mean, this was the juggernaut. This is the album that put them on the map. I mean,
absolutely.
I had 7800 Fahrenheit before this came out, but this is got the girlies into it, the casual fans, not the hard rock, this mainstream radio. This hit hard.
It's kind of like Bon Jovi's Black album.
Yep, in a way.
Yep, Metallica, tons and tons and tons of people started liking Metallica after the Black album come out because it's a little easier listening. And yeah, it just shot him into a different stratosphere, and that's what Slippery When Wet did for Bon Jovi.
And I'm shocked that, and I didn't look this up, but if Chad says Slippery When Wet outsold New Jersey 2-1, I believe it.
Yeah, I think New Jersey sold like around 12.
But I don't know how. I mean, the singles off of there, and I think these were all singles. I'm just going to name them, and you tell me if I'm wrong. But Lay Your Hands on Me, Bad Medicine, Born to Be My Baby, Living in Sin. I can remember a video for that on MTV.
I don't remember that song being one.
And I'll Be There for You, I think, were all singles from that album. So what's that? Five singles. And there was how many on Slippery When Wet?
3 major ones. No, and I think Never Say Goodbye was also a hit. So 4.
Yeah.
You Give Love a Bad Name, Living on a Prayer, Wanted Dead or Alive, and Never Say Goodbye.
And I can't. So my argument is not just as simple as the 12 versus 10 songs. That's kind of unfair. But I feel like New Jersey was. I did feel this way. And I think maybe at the end Chad might encourage me, or he might get me to come around to his way of thinking. Like I said, little spoiler alert, I listened to both of these albums in the last couple of days, just, back to back. Just off the cuff, when we talked about doing this episode, my first instinct was, I think New Jersey's actually the better album. So I'm gonna continue to argue that for the meantime. Just the opener, Lay Your Hands on Me. I mean, the first 4 songs, all being singles, Lay Your Hands on Me, great opener, I think. I feel like it's an awesome song to start their concert with, and I think when I saw them a couple of times, they did. You saw them prior to this album,
Correct.
so you would have not seen that
No,
song
and
live.
that's the only time I've seen him. So
Um, there's a great opener on his album too that we'll, like you said, we'll kind of get into it a little bit
yep,
more. Bad Medicine was a huge hit. Born to Be My Baby, kind of ballad-ish,
yeah,
slower song. Living in Sin was definitely, I would call it a ballad. Then I'll Be There for You. Um, I just think overall, I don't, and I think you'd said it this way about Slippery When Wet. There's no filler songs or
no,
throwaway songs. You could argue that there is on New Jersey, but there is 12 songs versus 10. So the percentage of songs that maybe you could toss away. I'd like to talk about the ones that weren't singles on both albums.
yeah, that's
You know,
great because there's a couple that I really, really dig on both of them that are not their huge hits. So yeah, that's cool with me.
yeah. So you started off with some of those on um,
I thought,
Slippery When Wet, and
well,
then
yeah, I
I'd
mean,
like to chime in on those too.
yeah. So on Slippery When Wet, as I was talking earlier, I mean, I'd Die for You is fantastic. It's such a good slow song. Well, it's not a slow song. It's kind of medium tempo. Wild in the Streets, I thought that was really good. Um, Social Disease is pretty good, and the one to start off the album, Let It Rock, it's really good.
It is really good.
I mean, the only two that I didn't like get real crazy about is Wild in the Streets, and it's okay, it's pretty decent, and Raise Your Hands. Um, those
See, we
two, those two were my least favorite. I
we
think.
differ on that big time because Raise Your Hands. I love that. That's the one I was talking about where I feel like that's a good opener for the concert.
Oh yeah, that one
Um,
is pretty good. Now that I'm singing it in my head.
yeah, I wish we could have it playing in the background,
Yep.
but
Unfortunately, we're not there yet.
yeah, we gotta be able
We
to
need
afford
your
some
help.
licensing. Yes. Um, Wild in the Streets makes me think about being a teenager in a small town and um,
Yeah.
a lot of feels with that song. Just it takes me back to a certain place. And Raise Your Hands going back to that song is a great song for getting pumped up to play sports or just walking into the show. And I mean, I'm doing a lot of, but anyway, that song should be their opening song. That with Lay Your Hands on Me.
Very good. Very good. When we were talking the other day, remember, I don't know why it came up that we were talking about Desmond Child for some reason. I see he co-wrote on quite a few songs with them. Um, and he did on the New Jersey one too, I think. Did a few, not a lot, but a few. Yeah, he did a lot on, well, actually, these are on the special edition, but did one, two, three, on four on the New Jersey co-wrote. So that's pretty cool. You see his name all over this kind of music. It's crazy.
That you do.
Yep. Why don't we talk about your album a little bit? Because you got four big hits right off the bat, and then it's kind of
Yep.
snooze fest.
Hey, Snooze Fest.
Oh, that's the way I see it.
No, wrong. Uh, Blood on Blood, good song. Homebound Train's a little. So I did kind of want to bring this up too, a little bit about Bon Jovi. Between this album, Slippery When Wet, New Jersey, and then shortly after that was the Young Guns 2 soundtrack. There's a lot of cowboy songs in there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I bet you they mentioned cowboy in 8 of these songs.
Well, Stick to Your Guns, Ride Cowboy Ride.
Yeah, I mean, the cowboy in the title. They had a infatuation with cowboy stuff.
And there's
I feel
nothing
like
wrong with that.
no.
Because, now what's the name of Blaze of Glory? That's a hell of a good song.
Yep. Ride
Yep.
Cowboy Ride's kind of if you could throw one away, I don't know if you can picture or hear this song in your head, but it's like the needle drops on the record and it sounds
Yeah.
scratchy and like it's a old dusty record you threw on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really just an intro. It's a
Yeah.
short 1 minute
Yeah.
25-second song to the Stick to Your Guns, which I think could have been another single. Then I'll Be There for You, of course, was the single after that, track number 10. But track 11 and 12, 99 in the Shade, that's 99 in the Shade is the best song on the album that's not a single, and maybe might be the best song on the album.
I really like that one too.
That this is
I would agree with you. I don't know. It's hard to. Well, I think it's better than Born to Be My Baby. Yeah, it might be the best one.
99 in the Shade,
I mean, because
hot summer day. It's making me think about my friends and hanging out
yeah.
and we're getting together and
Tell me, Chris, preach it. Come on.
we're gonna party when that
Yeah,
song
I
comes
mean,
on.
you got me convinced now.
If I'm putting a party
'Cause
mix together,
I'm
that
looking
song's
at
on
Lay
it.
Your Hands on Me, Bad Medicine, Born to Be My Baby, and Living in Sin. I'm thinking I like 99 in the Shade better than all those. I do like I'll Be There for You a lot, though. That's a really good slow song. Oh, that's the one I picked for my ballads, too.
Love
So,
for Sale's kind of a weird song to end it, but and even at the very end of the song, John's talking about let's just say that the record's done, and then it ends.
you know what? I stopped the song before it was over, so I didn't
Yeah,
hear
okay.
that.
But
So matter of fact, this was the last one I listened to, so I kind of, halfway through the song, okay, I got it, and I'd skip to the next one, and I knew all the Living in Sin. I had to listen to that again because I couldn't really remember that one very well. Um, but the rest I kind of did listen through the first chorus and kind of skip to the next song so I can get the idea of what these songs sound like because it's been a long, long time. Oh, here's a funny story about this. Um, this came out. What year did this come out, Chris?
88.
88. Yes. So went out goose and duck hunting with a bunch of friends, and I don't remember. I think it was uh, Wade's car, and he had this, and we had the cassette, and he stuck that cassette in. I said, "Yeah, we might want to listen to this." He goes, "Yeah, yeah, let's do that," because I was always known to bring something new into the thing, and here you listen to this. And Wade, yeah, well, yeah, and the damn tape got stuck in the player. It played all day, and we were out like
This album.
8 hours that day.
This came out in September of 88.
Yeah, so that's
So
right around
probably
Goosey.
senior year of high school or
Yeah,
yep.
and Wade's a grade behind me, but we all went out hunting, and oh my God, we listened to it all day.
And that wasn't enough to convince you that this is better than.
No, that made me not like it because I listened to it all day
Can we
one day and
change
I
it?
couldn't change it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember how the heck we got it out of there, but and then finally he just figured out just to turn the volume down and listen to silence. But yeah, it's kind of funny. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, I can't listen to this song again."
Did both of these albums yeah go to
Chart.
number one?
Yep.
U.S. Billboard. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
So New Jersey did. Slippery When Wet did for sure.
Yep. It went to number one for 4 weeks.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it. I don't think New Jersey did 4 weeks, but just saying.
I think too. I think I'm a bigger Bon Jovi fan than Chad is, and I think that's fair.
That's fair. That's fair to say.
Especially.
Like I said, I nothing after New Jersey, and after that day of hunting, you could probably just knock New Jersey off there too. And I'll just say I like the first three albums.
Yeah. I actually think
I do like New Jersey. It's just like when you just listen to it so much, it's kind of like Alice Cooper's Poison song. When that came out, everybody and their dog wanted to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked Alice Cooper and I liked the album, but I can't stand that song now because everybody and their dog wanted to listen to it anytime you went out. And I just hate it now.
I
It's
can
like nails in the
commiserate for
chalkboard.
sure. I'm with you on that. That song was so overplayed. I just saw Alice Cooper in concert, and of course, you have to play that
Of
song.
course he does. I mean, it's a hit, and it made him a bunch of money.
But he's got so many other better songs. But anyway, we're not talking about Alice Cooper.
No, I know, but we go off on tangents. That's what we
That's
do.
kind of what we do. We don't have a script, so
No, I
just
got a
talk.
couple things that Living on a Prayer reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the U.S. several other countries. The song remains a cultural touchstone, instantly recognizable, and still receiving radio play and karaoke love to this day. It says legacy and impact. Living on a Prayer is widely considered John Bon Jovi's signature song. It perfectly encapsulates their sound and continues to be a fan favorite. And that is true. I would bet that's probably their closer a lot of the times, I would think.
Encore song?
Yep, their encore song. Yep. And, on my album, there's another thing I got to talk about, and that's Richie Sambora's guitar playing. He never gets any love.
Yeah.
But he's a very good guitar player. He really is. I was listening to some of his solos and stuff on the album, and I'm like, Jesus, I forgot how good this guy was.
Yeah.
And he is really, really good, and I think that should be mentioned.
Wanted Dead or Alive, too, another huge hit off of that album.
Yep.
I don't know if they played this song at like the VMA Awards or MTV Awards or whatever they called it back then, and it kind of kicked off the MTV Unplugged. I can remember Richie and John sitting on the stage, playing, acoustic. Both had guitars in their hands, if I remember right, and they played this song. I can't. It's a good pick. Slippery When Wet. I mean,
it's a great pick.
Hard
it's
to beat.
the only choice in this, given this category. I mean, it's your only choice.
So
28 million albums.
Slippery When Wet versus New Jersey. No doubt in your mind. Slippery When Wet's the answer.
Absolutely.
I have a little doubt.
There's some great stuff on New Jersey. I would give you that. But nothing that's, I mean, You Give Love a Bad Name and Living on a Prayer are going to live on in history and be playing 100 years from now.
So I would argue Bad Medicine would be too. Lay Your Hands on Me. I said 99 in the Shade, but I think Lay Your Hands on Me is probably my favorite.
Yeah, I do like that one too.
It's a good opener too.
I'm not big on Bad Medicine. I don't know that whole where he stops. Bad medicine. I don't know. It's just kind of corny, but whatever.
I can understand.
It's okay.
That too.
It's a decent enough song. I honestly think there's probably 3 other songs that could have been hits easily on this album.
Slippery When Wet.
Yeah. I really do.
You didn't care for Raise Your Hands as much as I did. I would have picked that one.
But I'd Die For You for sure would be a hit. And I could argue for Let It Rock because it starts off the album and it's a good.
It is a good one.
Good one to start off the album.
When I was just thumbing through the songs, I thought, Social Disease, but then I go back into my brain and I listen to that song in my head.
Yeah.
And the way the song starts out, with the girls making their noises, and that song is great.
Yeah, it is pretty good. And just because of not listening to these for so long, it was kind of good to. I got to do stuff like this more often, and I'm glad we're starting this. What is it called?
Verses.
Verses. Yeah, I know what it's called, but I can't. What do you call that? Segment or episode. Kind of thing. What we're going to do, we're going to do several of these, verses. We'll have other albums and have other bands versus bands and albums versus albums, and we're going to continue this, and it's going to be called Verses.
We'll have other episodes that aren't versus episodes, but a series of episodes in this
genre.
Yeah. This is our first installation, or is that the word?
Yeah.
Our first go round at this.
And I think it's going to be fun because, it'll make me go back and listen to some stuff like the Tesla stuff. I hadn't listened to that in a long time, and I know we're going to do one of those
Yeah.
a couple Tesla albums. So I got to listen to them too. So I think it's great. It gets me back into, back in the day, and you kind of remember things about each album as you listen. I think it's a great idea, and I think it's going to be, I think people are really going to like it.
Yeah, and I think this also is going to coincide probably when we release this episode. Will be right around the time the Hulu thing comes out. There's a 4-part documentary about Bon Jovi. I think it's called Bon Jovi Forever, and it comes out on April 26th.
I remember you talking about that, and we'll have to check that out, and then we'll have to review that as well.
Yeah, and maybe we'll get some subscribers or some lookers, because they watched the thing on Hulu on the 26th, and hey,
Yeah.
they want to learn a little bit more about Bon Jovi.
Yeah, for sure.
I actually want to bring something else up about.
Okay.
We talked. I mean, we got this album versus that album. You said your Bon Jovi kind of starts and ends with the first 3, maybe 4.
Yeah.
The 4 even you could live without it. You could take the 3 to the desert island and be okay.
I'd be okay with 3.
If you could only pick 3, you'd just take those first 3 and snap them.
Or I would take the first 2 and Crossroads.
Well, that's unfair. You just take the greatest hits album.
Well, that's kind of how I like it.
I guess. Yeah. I like the desert island scenario. Pick one.
Yeah. If I had to pick one, it'd be 7800 Degrees. That would be my number one.
If you had to pick one of these 2 for the desert island,
it's obviously Slippery When Wet. Yeah.
It's obviously New
Hands
Jersey.
down. I mean,
I get 2 extra songs that way.
You get 2 extra songs, but one's 1 minute and 25 seconds.
Okay, that's fair.
So it's actually 11 songs.
Recorded in mono.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. What do you guys think? Why don't you guys, we're going to probably wrap this up here fairly quickly. What do you guys think? Which one should win? Should Slippery When Wet win with You Give Love a Bad Name, Living on a Prayer, Wanted Dead or Alive, or
Lay Your Hands on Me, on New Jersey, Bad Medicine, Living in Sin, 99 in the Shade, the ballad I'll Be There for You, which Chad picked in his ballad episode.
I did, because it's a very good song.
But to be fair, I picked Never Say Goodbye in mine, on my pick. So
that's all right. But what do you guys think? We'd love to get some comments, and you guys put the comments out there who you think wins the battle. I think I did a great job of standing up for Slippery When Wet. Chris did an okay job, but let's be honest, it was all me.
Yeah.
Anyways, we want to know what you guys think. If you guys liked what you heard today, this little kind of friendly battle, hey, subscribe, tell friends and neighbors. We're on Facebook. I always put out little teasers as we come. We're trying to release episodes on Friday, so I put teasers throughout the week of kind of what the episode's about, so I hope you guys are enjoying those. But subscribe, I can't say that enough, because we need to get to a certain amount so we can put some little music in these things, because we want music. This is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Everything else you want to say, Mr.
Yes.
Buddy?
On that note, the podcast comes in several formats. There's an audio only version on Spotify, and
Apple,
other places too.
Yeah, our biggest one is iHeartRadio right now.
Yeah, so if you're listening to the podcast, I want to remind people that we are on YouTube, where you can see our ugly faces talking about the music and not just hearing our terrible Midwestern accent voices.
Yes.
That's where we need the subscribers at. I mean, we need subscribers everywhere. But if you can check us out on YouTube, watch us, like us,
you get to
subscribe.
see our lovely faces. The faces made for radio.
Right. Maybe they do that, then they'll go back to, let's just listen to them.
Yeah.
But so, wrapping it up, you did a good job. You convinced me that is the better album of the 2.
I think so.
I argued for New Jersey.
I had more bullets. If I had to bring them out, I was going to bring them out.
Yeah.
But, I'll just leave it to where it is.
Had more bullets.
Yeah, I did a little research. I
Yeah.
wanted to take this one home for Mr. John Bon Jovi himself.
Okay.
Heck yeah. I had all this blue stuff that I could have read. But I didn't, because I'm a nice guy.
You want to talk some more about Bon Jovi?
Not really. I'm good.
Okay.
They're a good band. I mean, they've sold millions upon millions of records, and they're going to go down in history, and they're going to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There's no doubt. So I give them that. They just kind of went away from my musical taste. I mean, I like ballads to a point, but they kind of got a little too soft for me. After. I mean, even New Jersey was a little soft for me. So that's kind of why I kind of fell off the train, and that's the only reason. It's not that they don't write good music, because they write damn good songs. I'm not going to say anything bad about John Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora and whoever else does their writing. Desmond Child, they write fantastic songs. It's just a little too light for me, and that's the only reason.
I will give you this, that this album is softer, but when you say the first two seem way more poppy and less rock to me too.
Oh man,
the first one especially, like Runaway.
Yeah, the first one I can see, but 7800 Degrees is pretty.
It's a banger.
Tokyo Road.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of good bangers on there, and they have a really, really underestimated ballad, and I almost picked it. And it was Silent Night. I love, love, love that song.
Yeah,
it's so good.
It is very good.
So, you got anything else, Barry?
No, that's another episode altogether.
We're gonna do it. I think we're gonna do it. We're gonna do the first two albums.
Yeah, I like 78. I like them both.
I do too, but I'll have to listen to the first one a little more, because I really played the 7800 Degrees a lot. I didn't play the first one near as much.
Yeah.
So
I really enjoy that one.
Well, everybody, that is a wrap for us. Stay tuned for our next episode. We love having you here. We'd love to have more of you here. And let me just do one thing. I want to give a little shout out to our subscribers that we can actually see on here. Most people have their identity hidden, which is fine with us.
As long as you subscribe.
Yeah, as long as you subscribe. But we want to give a shout out to Tyler, John, Beth, Rhonda, Kaya, and Mr. Big Chief North Dakota. I know who you are, buddy. But thank you guys. You guys show up and you guys subscribe. So we just wanted to give a little shout out. And if you guys change your privacy settings and then we can see them, well, we'll give you a shout out too, I promise. Anyways, I think that is it for us. Again, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We really hope you enjoyed our content. If you did, please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. We'd greatly appreciate it. Links to everything we discussed will be included in episode notes. Feel free to check those out as well. Until next time, stay golden, Pony Boy, and rock on.